Good day, folks. Welcome back to another time video. We are going to spin up the Jiggy Damsel. So I've got a Pro Tire jig hook in the vise, along with a Head Turner Bead. This one's in matte olive. You can use the shiny olive color as well, chartreuse. Feel free to play around with bead colors. But we'll just get that bead seated with some wraps, and then bring our thread into the bend here. And I've got a piece of micro pine squirrel zonker, and just going to tie that so it looks like I'm tying it in backwards, and I am. This fly is going to ride hook point up, so not that it really matters to the fish, but when I do these, I'll just flip the tails over. And next, I've got some 5mm UV straggle. I don't know if you've seen what was happening there. My thread wanted to jump over to the wrong side, so if you spin your bobbin the direction you want your thread to go, when you pick it up and loosen it off, it'll go exactly where you want. Makes it a little easier. So we'll just clean this up a little bit and leave about a bead length or so space behind that bead, and then just wrap this up the shank. Right about there, and just tie that off. Trim that out, and then I'll just try to, same thing, clean this up. That looks pretty good there. Now we'll come in. I've been using this, this is a saltwater Mirage flash. If you've got the opal in medium or large, that would work well too. And just kind of get it underneath there, straighten it out the best you can, and you want it looking something like that. And then this is about the only tricky part of this pattern, is just getting this squirrel collar to work. So there's tools that can help you with it if you want, but I just make a dubbing loop, kind of have my piece prepped and ready, this here, and then I put it in my loop and then cut it. So I know there's tools out there that help with this kind of thing, so if you struggle with it, then by all means find some tools, and should help make it a little easier. And I'll just spread those out a little bit. You don't need a ton in there, just enough for a couple wraps, and then I'll just spin that kind of like so. Make sure nothing's trapped in there, and then I've always got some excess just because it makes it easier to work with, but I'll just wrap that. Once I get to where my fur is, I'll just kind of wrap this basically like a hackle. I just sweep these fibers back as I go. And right about there, looks good. Tie off that loop, get rid of that excess, and then we're just going to kind of sweep these fibers down and back as I pull that flash over, and then just lock that in with a couple wraps in front and behind. Can trim that out of there. If we have some serious background noise in this video, you can thank Mr. Moose. he is doing Mr. Moose things, which is totally good. Whip finish. Get rid of that thread. Now we'll just trim this to length. So if you want, a little trick I do is typically when I tie these things, I already had that piece prepped, but if you tie your tail a little extra long and trim it after you've tied it in, then typically your little extra works really good for the collar on the fly. So just something to consider. But that's about all there is to that one. So it's not a super difficult tie. Like I say, the collar can be a little tough, but takes on a great look and gets down quick, stays in the zone, definitely gets it done. So that's all there is to the Jiggy little damsel. Thanks very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. And until the next one, cheers and tight lines.